Okay? Now, if we remember the locust from our study in Shemot, when the locust destroyed the fruit that the hail did not, the verse says, he will destroy these nations. Look at the Hebrew that says, Hu yashemid et hagoyim. He will destroy what destroys your fruitfulness through the Aleph and the Tav, through his word. So again, we consider verse 8 from Hosea 14 that said what? He will grow your grain, and he will do what? He will restore your fruit. The locust destroyed what was left over from the hail. There wasn't anything left after the locusts were done. And there's nothing left after the locusts are done in our lives if we don't make teshuvah. But when we make teshuvah, when we understand that our fruitfulness has been eaten up, and we make teshuvah, this is what happens. He goes before us and he destroys the swarm of the locusts. Our verse continues saying that these nations, the locusts, will be verish etam, dispossessed. These will be removed from your life. These locusts that chew up your fruit will be removed from your life. All we have to do is understand where we stand. And if there's something that we're doing that goes contrary to his word, that is destroying our fruit, make teshuvah and begin to walk in the right direction. These will be removed from your life. In this we understand what is meant in the phrase, and Joshua, he shall go over before you. We see that the redemption, the deliverance, and the restoration of Yahweh will lead us to overcome. In this we say that we are healed, basically, in the name of Yahshua. It's not just a physical healing, but it's a spiritual healing. It's a mental healing that comes in the name of Yahshua. So with this in mind, we look to verse 5 that says, and Yahweh will deliver them up before you, and you shall do unto them according to all the commandments which I have commanded you. What is he going to deliver up before us? He's going to deliver up the nations. This swarm of locusts that's chewing up our fruit is going to be put in front of us, and we will do with them according to the word of Yahweh. In order to destroy the locusts, what do? We turn to the word, we speak the word over our life, we make teshuvah, and we get out of the way. We stop trying to be Elohim, and we allow Elohim to once again become our mighty judge, who has the authority to restore us and bring us rest. Okay? We have the word, the Torah of Yahweh Elohim, to guide us and to help us overcome transgression. Transgression includes doubting self, as in doing so, we become Elohim in our lives. We don't have the authority to condemn ourselves. We don't have the authority to doubt ourselves, really. What we have is the authority to stand on the word and trust that Yahweh Elohim will do what he sees right in his time. And you say, well, that's a cop-out, because then you can pray, and if it doesn't happen right away, if it happens later on, you can say that it was all God. No, that is me saying that I can think that I need it now, when Elohim knows that I don't need it now, because if I get it now, it's going to be wasted. But when I really need it, Elohim materializes it for me. That's what that means. So, where were we? Yahweh will deliver us according to his word and according to our being willing to keep our oath in the Shema. This is why we say the Shema in the morning. This is why we say the Shema the last thing before we go to sleep, to remind ourselves. In drawing close to our Elohim through his Torah, we are embraced and protected by him. as we read in verse 6. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For Yahweh Elohecha is he that goes with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. We draw close in our relationship to Yahweh Elohim, and we are able to fully trust that our Elohim will be with us to help us overcome every fear or challenge and to meet all our needs. This is what Psalm 60:14 says, and that's in the Hebrew Tanakh. If you try to look up 60:14 in King Jimmy, you're probably going to be out of luck. It's 60:12 in King James. Through Elohim we shall do valiantly, for he it is that will tread down our adversaries. Through Yahweh Elohim we will do valiantly, because he's the one that's going to tread down those things that come up against us. We'll get out of the way and stop trying to be Elohim. It is in this Torah portion that we're reminded again to keep the Torah of Yahweh Elohim. It's in this Torah portion that Elohim through Moses tells the people that they will transgress severely and be taken into captivity. We read this in Devarim, well before they went into the captivity of Egypt, well before they went into captivity in Babylon. Elohim is telling them, you are going to transgress, and because of it, you're going to go into captivity. But he also says that I'm going to make a means for you to be brought out of captivity. And we have to understand within this Torah portion that it holds true for us. We are going to do stupid things that put us into captivity. It's what we do. We're human. But we can realize that we have gotten ourselves into a state of spiritual poverty. And then we can make teshuvah, and we can seek Elohim, and then we understand that he goes before us, and that he will never fail us or forsake us, and that it is he that overcomes those adversaries. Okay? So, we're reminded again to keep the Torah of Yahweh Elohim. He tells them that they're going to stray seriously and come into captivity. It's also in this Torah portion that Elohim promises them redemption, deliverance from captivity, and a restoration back to Yahweh Elohim. We also read about, in this Torah portion, the first Torah scrolls to be completed. We read that Moses finished writing off the Torah. Now we know that Joshua finished the Torah because Moses dies on this day. So the things about his burial are put in by Joshua. But Moses is going to tie up and complete the writing of the first ever Torah scroll, because he says within this Torah portion that take that Torah scroll and put it beside the ark. He didn't say put it inside the ark, but he said put it beside the ark, so that the people will be able to see and perceive and understand. But we have to understand that if the ark represents our heart, then where does the word of Yahweh Elohim have to be? It has to be right there beside it. Okay? So, he also talks about the importance of reading it to the people so they can pass it on to their children. Within this Torah portion, it talks about reading the Torah to all the people who are to gather in the place that Yahweh will direct them to gather. That they gather in Jerusalem is Tachanot. The Torah says in a place that Yahweh will tell them to gather. And that this time of gathering is to be done in the Sukkot of the Shemitah. So every 7 years they gather together. And then it says in the Torah, it says, it is to be read out loud to the men, to the women, to the small children. Everybody is to hear the Torah, because everybody, regardless of gender, is responsible for keeping Torah. When it says, you know, we talk about the talit. You say, well, only men can wear talits. When he said, put tassels on the four corners of your garments, he was talking to the children of Israel, to all of them. And the commandments of Torah are to all the children of Israel, Bnei Yisrael, those who have established that Yahweh Elohim prevails in their lives. Whether you're a man, you're a woman, is irrelevant. Elohim is no respecter of persons. Okay? So, it's to be read to the people so that they can pass it on to their children. Now, we've had the opportunity over this last year to compile a Sefer Torah, and in doing so, we've had and still have the opportunity to study it, to make our own special notes, and to pass the word and instruction of our Elohim onto a struggling world. As we approach Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, let's take time to review his commandments and truly look into ourselves to see where we stand. What can we improve? And what do we need to cast off? Let's be able to give our Elohim a real and sincere answer when he asks us, where are you? That's our Torah portion. It wasn't 17 pages. But this is a very important time of the year. And it's a time for us to really, really start to reflect. Any questions on this one? Grooviness is achieved.